Because I feel like there's such a huge difference going from just a dancer to being a leader. Like, what was that for you guys? Like, that sense of responsibility. Like, you're not just dancer, you can fuck around, but you have a position now. Like, what changed for you?
So Brandon and I, we both led as captains our senior years for Alhambra. And we actually led honestly, it was a great balance because I feel like we had amazing leaders like to learn from, like from Teen Groove and from our Alhambra All-Male. So like when our senior year happened, like it was honestly pretty freaking crazy how lucky we were, because the year previously to that, our team pretty much got like, we almost got canceled, because then the year before our junior year, all of our close friends were seniors. So then it was their senior year and we were juniors, and we were on the leading board, right? So then we competed with people with bad grades. So then we won first place at street dance. And then the following day, instead of the school telling the whole school that we won, they're like, oh, Alhambra All-Male is now their season's cut. So that shit like hit us really hard. And that year, our advisor, she was like the advisor for like 20 years or 30 years plus, and she retired that year too. So then like when Brandon and I were leaders that year, our junior year, like we had to take on that responsibility of just kind of keeping the guys together. So it was really like messed up that entire year. Like, so then we learned leadership that year of really putting like the team before our needs. So then our senior year, when we became captains, we thankfully had the opportunity to rerun the team. So it was honestly pretty awesome because like we had like a test run of how to be leaders the previous year. So then our senior year, not only were we hungry, but our dancers were freaking hungry to just work. So, and we honestly implemented the same teachings that you guys taught us. So I think that's the reason why like we did so good. And Brandon and I, we led Alhambra All-Male to the first ever undefeated season in large.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's probably
that's
one of the
props.
Yeah, that was literally probably like one of the biggest accomplishments I've done in my life.
That's cool.
Like, it was honestly like the fucking best year. Like it was just like easy as fuck. Like it was just like we knew what to do, and everyone was just like down for their shit, and we just ran it, and it's fucking awesome.
I remember Brandon being so cocky that year.
No, I was
You guys would finish your routine, and then all the boys would march off to the side, but Brandon would straight up just walk off to the front, like, and just dab. Yo, but honestly, like that was my mentality my senior year too. But
senior year was just fucking like.
That was sick. Your routine was sick. Your attitudes on the floor was sick. Like it just transcended. And I remember that was a powerful year of like dancers. Like it was cool. It was cool to see.
Yeah, I think the most meaningful part was seeing you guys, especially you, Mark, because you were coaching too. Like seeing you guys at comp.
I was coaching.
Really?
No, I wasn't coaching Glendale. I was just there. Daniel was coaching Glendale, but I was just there. I was still obviously I was coaching like it was junior hitless already, right? Yeah, I was junior hitless.
Yeah, junior JHL was competing too, I think. And then I didn't want to cut off Brandon, so Brandon wants to talk more.
Just food in his mouth.
As he's eating.
What was the question?
What was it going like? What was the shift in your mentality going from being a dancer to a captain?
I think definitely a lot more responsibility. It's not just like, oh, I need to learn this. It's just I need to do this. And yeah, I would say like when you move up in that like hierarchy, it's just more about responsibility than dancing at like, you know, like a job. Like you do your job, but once you become management, like you work on handling the responsibility rather than just doing the actual job itself. And honestly, like that's kind of like how I saw it in a sense. It just moves from like dancing to just managing and making sure the guys are like doing what they need to do, making sure like practice is ran appropriately, everything goes well. And I mean, yeah.
Anyone else?
I definitely feel like during that year, it really made us realize how much planning goes into it. And then, and just like the little things from getting choreographers to come and just like communication between everybody. And so after after high school, I took 3 years off to be a general member again. So I felt the shift from like being a general member and then becoming a leader and like having to handle all that background shit. And then I took 3 years and I was on GRV, and that's when I just trained. And then, so when I was in college at Pomona, the dance community there was very nothing. Like there's nothing there except for like culture clubs, you know? So then like 3 years, I was thankfully enough to be on GRV. So then that's how I did my dance, and that's how I got my outlet. And then at one point it got very stressful, so I had to quit. And then after that year, it's crazy how like when one chapter ends, a new chapter can begin, you know? Mm-hmm. So then because I took a break, all of a sudden, like this all male, they hit me up. They're like, yo, we need a coach. So then like I started coaching Alhambra for 2 years. So I coached them for 2 years. And at the same time, my homies from Pomona that I had met that loved dancing too, we decided to start our own dance org there. So at the same time, it was like I was coaching Alhambra all male, and at the same time, I was starting this new training team at Pomona. And our message, in our essence, was pretty much to provide a free dance outlet to everybody. And like it took 3 years to build up that organization. So like it's actually pretty cool because Mark, he saw like the build of it. So like he came out to teach us at like the second year that we were there, and like it was fucking crazy. Like it was like it went from 4 people at every event, like the same 4 people, just like, hey, yo, everyone's here, let's start, you know? And then like, and then it got to the point where like by the 3rd year, like it went from I called it a brigand of dancers. Like the first gen was like a brigand, like it's just whoever's down to come out to just dance, you know? And then the second year was like, we had a team of like 13, and then we did USJ. And then the following year was our first year we got chartered with the school, so we're actually like a accredited like organization at Cal Poly now, and we jumped to like 30 members, and then wow. it hit me, you know, like, oh shit, like all of the hard work has finally paid off, like the journey finally set in stone, you know?
Yeah.
And then so so now that I'm graduated, but funny story, Corona, right? We were supposed to go to USJ this year, mm-hmm. But you know, USJ, Marlon Shell, bro, he took all the money.
We'll get to that. I know what you're talking about. But we'll get to that. But I want to hear like the other captains leaders real quick. But I know that's fucking wild.
Yeah. So what I learned most from being a leader is like you have to put the team before yourself. You know, like at one point, like you're just kind of deciding like, oh, what's best for the team. Like I kind of wanted to stay home right now, but I need to be a better dancer so it pushes them too, you know? So so I think I rambled on.
About leading with example.
Yep.
Leading by example, pretty much.
All right. What about anyone else?
For me, it was kind of different because I've never seen myself as a captain. And when I was a captain, I didn't treat myself like one really on the first year, just because I didn't know exactly how to be one. But I just, like Raven and Brandon said, putting the team first and helping. So I would always offer, like, if anyone wanted to meet up and go over choreography, I would. Vanessa, me and her, how I got her on the team with you guys. We would be at school literally doing the routine, making sure we had them passed and, like, the counts were correct and everything. And just, like, being the example. And one of the main things I prided myself in when I was a captain was being in class every time. And then when Mark gave me the opportunity to assist him during his class, that even kind of helped me become more of a leader and really understanding how important it is to be the example. And once we got from Teen Group to JXL, and that was my last season on a junior team, kind of really like opened my eyes that I was a leader and what I was doing was working. By not saying I'm a captain, even though I knew I was a captain, but just still being there for my team. Because I didn't want to get cocky or, you know, think I missed it, because I knew I wasn't. I had to work for everything. I was not a natural dancer. So having to put that in perspective for myself was really nice. And then, like I said, the lovely books he gave me that I still cherish to this day.
Damn.
Yeah. I even have your lovely handwriting in here too, Emeroy.
What did I write? You suck?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And a quote from the book too that he personally liked.
Oh yeah.
You want to see the quote or what?
Those are some books that like fucking impacted my thoughts and leadership as well. John Wooden, Phil Jackson, greatest examples in terms of leadership, but like not having to be an iron fist. Like,
Mhm.
because Steve Jobs is a great example. Like, God rest his soul. He built a great company, but the way he ran it was through fear. And you know, like the way Monsters Inc. is such a great example of it, because like the result of fear gets this energy. The result of laughter and joy creates this type of energy. So my question was like, how do I? Because and being, I guess, hard ass is extremely exhausting because it takes more effort and energy. So like the question for me when I really started taking the whole leadership role more seriously was like how to create a winning culture. And the best example for me at that time was fucking Phil Jackson, because if he can get egos like Kobe Bryant and Shaq to work together, or fucking Michael Jordan to fall in love with the team culture with fucking yoga and meditating, I'm like, should work with kids, right?
Oh God.
So, dude, honestly, I was scared about that. Like the idea of introducing meditation to kids, because at that time, the idea of meditation, oh my God, Ruben, the idea of meditation was
fall asleep a lot.
was no, also the Dalai Lama says sleeping is the best form of meditation. So,
really
so I thought,
I meditate with the kids.
you what?
I use meditation when I teach my kids, so it works.
That's fucking cool, man. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna hop onto a question about meditation in a bit. I'm taking a lot of it, but like Jazz about your and Calvin about your perspectives about from dancer to captain.
Well, honestly, for me personally, it was a pretty big shift because I kind of went from a position where I was like just everyone's friend to, and immediately overnight, I hopped onto a mentality of,
No one's my friend.
yeah, what do I need to do to keep my dancers in line?
Mm.
I mean, it all relates back to like things that I do nowadays as well, in terms of how to be a boss.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not there to be liked. I'm there to make sure the system works.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, in order to do that, I need people I wouldn't necessarily say fear, but respect me.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So when I command, it will follow. You know, so like I feel like that was the biggest shift for me in terms of mentality wise, going into rehearsal where you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna have fun and dance with all my friends, which I still do, but I also have to carry a second mentality where, all right, I need to go in and get my dancers ready. So when my director comes in,
I'm not in trouble.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like in which I feel like backtracking to a couple of questions that you asked earlier, where it really did help me to become a successful businessman today, because I carry that mentality not just as to my own business, but to anywhere I go, when it comes to just working. Yeah.
Respect. Yeah, you've definitely come a long way. So like,
Yeah, I think it comes along with balance and just knowing and like willing to read the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jazz.
Yeah, when TG unfortunately ended, I joined Marvel with a couple of folks, and that was really cool. And then lo and behold, they were like, "You want to be captain?" And I was like, "I don't know, sure." So like going from the beginning of just being a general member for what, almost 6 to 8 years, and then being asked and being recognized, because for me, I'm still working on that confidence piece, right? But to see that there's people who trust me, I learned that my leadership styles, like a gatherer, I'm very much that person that wants to make sure people feel involved. I think I'm not, I'd like to believe I'm that leader or captain that if I notice someone is kind of off to the side, when I offer like, yo, are you okay? You need anything? And I think that translated because I got that not only from you all as directors, but from my teammates. So reminding, like that quote, to lead people, walk beside them. I still carry that to that day. And even like throughout college, I was able to be voluntold again, like, hey, do you want to be a director? I'm like, why? And so letting
responsibility. Fuck that.
Yeah, I was like, I just like dancing. But to be asked to take on that responsibility again, I realized like I was asked to lead over 100 people for this cultural production, and so there's this switch. Yeah, there's a switch in responsibility, and I can go on about it. But it taught me how to ask for help and how to learn and to listen. And especially when it comes to like cultural dances, I'm not the end all be all. So just being real with my dancers and being like, I'm learning just as much as you all. I'm just your stepping stone. I'm your introduction to this, whether it's Philippine dance or just dance in general. So just letting people know like, I'm right where you are. So we're going to learn together. And now I teach kids. And that's been really cool.
Yeah,
so.
that's dope. Yeah, like speaking of like when I rejoined FanBiz, my 2016-2017 season, it was so nice to not lead because I fucked around so much. I'm like, Mark and Daniel are being all serious. I'm on the side practicing breaking.
Just
fucking practicing blow ups.
God. I can see that.
Yeah, because when I was leading, Mark would fuck around.
Sounds about accurate.
And then fucking like when I would yell at the team, he's like, I know he's not mad at me. So
Oh my God.
because it's true, because Mark knew his shit. I was like, I can't get mad at him.
I'm just being on a team.
Yeah, it was, what do you call it? Real nice to not have that responsibility of making sure everyone's clean, formations, choreographing. Like